Yo, what's up peeps? Top of the morning, hope you're having a good day. I'm glad you're with me. Today we're making a tea that I drink in the morning. And I drink this every morning for the last 3 years. It's freaking awesome, tastes great. And I like it because it gives me a great amount of energy that sustains me all throughout the day, man. I mean, it helps me to sleep as well. But also, man, more importantly, is there's a lot of health benefits too. And it's helped me to lean out, like, so I stay at a low body fat all year without doing crazy stuff. And then also I've been able to gain lean muscle mass, which is pretty freaking awesome. Been able to normalize my hormone levels. So anyway, I'm somebody who fasts for 16 hours. So check out this video that I have about fasting, and because I won't go into that here, I want to show you how to make this tea. So this is derived off the Bulletproof coffee method. And if you're not familiar with Bulletproof coffee, it's pretty awesome. Basically, it's a single source coffee beans that are low in mold, low in mycotoxins, utilizing MCT oil and grass-fed butter. So I don't do well personally on coffee. It tends to give me adrenal fatigue, and then also what happens is it gives me headaches. I get addicted to it, and so I just don't like the way I feel on it and perform on it. So I have switched to using Yerba Mate tea quite a while ago. And I've been using it ever since. I love it. I think it should be in everybody's life, whether you're doing coffee or not. And so what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna talk about the health benefits of drinking this tea. And I would say that it's important to know the health benefits, not just to try something just because somebody else is doing it. So I'm not advocating that everybody should do this, but I wanna talk to you about why I do it and what some of the health benefits are. And then if you decide that you want to give it a shot, man, there's a lot to it. So, let's get right to it. So one of the stars of the show is turmeric. And I'm using about a thumb size of turmeric. If you're not familiar with turmeric, it's a root. It's commonly been used. It's what makes curry, gives it that orange color. But what it does is it has some quite amazing health benefits, like reducing inflammation. It also increases the antioxidant enzymes produced in the body. It neutralizes free radical damage. So when you hear the word free radicals, think increased aging. So you've got these free radicals in the body that accelerate the aging process. So foods that you can eat to reduce that inflammation and also that free radical damage are gonna slow down the aging process. So I use about a thumb size, and I'm gonna put this into my Blendtec blender. Now Blendtec is a high-powered blender. It's about 2-3 horsepower. Vitamix is also comparable. I've got both of those, and man, they're wonderful. So I put them on equal par. But so anyway, I've got some hot water in here already, and so I'm gonna put some turmeric in there. And then next up is, next up on the list is ginger. Man, ginger is freaking awesome, right? A lot of people put it into their cuisines. A lot of Asian recipes have ginger because it's got a wide variety of health benefits. One of the, I'll just point out a few. Ginger is high in chromium, magnesium, zinc. All of those things help to increase blood circulation, right? So blood circulation, low blood circulation is associated with many different disease factors out there. It also increases the absorption of nutrients as well, because what ginger does is it increases the gastric and pancreatic enzymes that your body produces. So if you're not familiar with enzymes are something that help to break down things. So we have enzymes that help us digest food, right? They lower the activation levels. Something else that ginger has been widely used for is to help with respiratory problems, right? Because what it does is it expands the lungs and it loosens up phlegm. So if you use this, like if you're dealing with some bronchial problems, or if you have a cold, ginger is awesome to use. So I'm using like a fat thumb size, and I'm just gonna put this right in here. And then what I'll do is I'll turn this on. This is gonna get a little loud. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blend this. And then what I've got in here already, so I use like a thermal French press, a thermos French press, and I've put my Yerba Mate tea in there already. So this is loose leaf tea. I just added some water in there, and then I'm gonna blend this up and then add that in there and let it steep for a little while with the leaves, all right? So it's gonna give you a nice orange color. And part of the reason why I put it into my French press is because I want to take out the pulp. All right. So I want to make sure that I mean, you could consume the pulp, of course, but when you're drinking a tea, man, it's nothing better than it being nice and smooth, right? Yo, next up is one of the stars of the show, and it's going to be butter. Specifically, you've got to get butter from cows that have been roaming in grass, because what's going to happen is if they are consuming grass, they have a higher amount of nutrients in the milk or in the flesh, because what happens is the grass contains nutrients that humans, we can't go out and eat grass. Like, you can't go out to your front yard and eat that grass because you can't digest it. We don't have the stomach for that. But cows do. They've got 4 stomachs and they're built to eat grass. They're not supposed to eat grains like soy and corn. You know, that causes inflammation and disease in them. So they're supposed to eat grass, and when they do that, they're able to convert the nutrients from the grass into their milk and then also into their flesh. So when we eat a healthy animal, we're consuming a healthy, you know, vitamin product with a lot of benefits to it. So one of the benefits that you're going to receive from consuming butter is CLA. Now, CLA is conjugated linoleic acid. It is awesome. I mean, it's a really good thing for increasing like lean muscle mass by reducing body fat. Butter also has a vitamin called K2. Now, you've probably heard about vitamin K, right? Like for blood clotting. And that's mostly going to be found in your green vegetables. So that's K1. But K2 is found in highest abundance is going to be, or your best source is going to be in grass-fed butter, right? Other sources of vitamin K2 are going to be like fermented soy product, the liver, and then also egg yolks. But the highest abundance is in grass-fed butter. Now, vitamin K2 is awesome for decalcifying our arteries, because what happens is vitamin K2 binds to calcium. So think about, like, you've probably heard of osteoporosis. That's calcium leaching out of the bones, right? So that's what osteoporosis is. And what it does is it leaches into the arteries, right? And so that creates heart attack, right? That's heart disease. So vitamin K2 binds to calcium, which pulls it out, and that leads to less heart attacks and also less osteoporosis, right? So it's something that's not found enough in the diet, unfortunately, and we've seen the rise and rise and rise. Heart disease is the number 1 killer of human beings. I mean, it's crazy. You know, vitamin K2 is actually sold like in supplement form. So I take like this vitamin D3 with K2. So it is important, but you can get amounts of it in butter as well. Now, another thing that butter is good for is it has something called butyrate. Now, butyrate is something that reduces inflammation. So I've talked about inflammation just a couple times already. And inflammation, if you're not familiar with it, it's an overreactive immune response. But having levels of inflammation in the body could be an awesome thing when they're in the short term, because it's necessary. We need the immune system. When we get injured, we need to have inflammation occur. When we are attacked by a virus, bacteria, yeast, fungus, etc., we need to have inflammation occur. It's just not supposed to happen at chronic levels all the time, right? It's supposed to be like a single occurrence, but not like every day, all day. And inflammation has been associated with every major disease category out there. So reducing inflammation is critical, and butyrate is one of the things that's very helpful in doing so. All right, friends, next up on the list, MCT oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglycerides, right? This thing is awesome, man. I specifically buy the On It brand. I like this one because it's 100% derived from coconut oil. A lot of the other brands out there have a mixture of coconut oil and palm oil. So one of the benefits of using 100% coconut oil is you receive something that's called lauric acid that's naturally going to be found in coconut oil. Lauric acid is a strong antifungal. So that's going to fight off things like overgrowth of fungal and yeast infections in our body and candida, etc. Those create tremendous problems in the body, man. So having foods and substances like lauric acid definitely help with digestion and other elements as well. So the reason why I'm using this is because it's going to bypass the normal digestive process, and it gets processed by the liver. And what that does is it produces ketones, right? And ketones are like energy for the brain, man. I mean, you get this nice sustained energy release that's nice. It also is going to increase your cognitive function too. So when you start supplementing this, you notice that you've got like this brain fog that's kind of lifted, and it helps to elevate like your mood, but also it feels like you could just think clearer, okay? The other part to this is it's useful in aiding in fat loss because it utilizes thermogenesis. And I mean, everybody out there is looking for some decrease in fat loss. There's an obesity epidemic in our country, and we know that obesity leads to every major disease. I mean, it multiplies the effect and your chances of obtaining disease. So that's a big epidemic. And you know, I'm a nutrition and exercise coach, so I've got a lot of clients that I work with online and in person that are trying to lose weight, and it's you know, it's a sad thing. I mean, excess weight can really affect your outcome in life. I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't want to do because they're not happy with how their body looks, right? So there's poor body image, creates psychological issues. And I mean, if you're not comfortable with how you look, man, it has a dramatic effect. I mean, there's a lot of places that you're not going. There's opportunities that you're missing out on. And so, you know, it's a big problem. So it's cool to have something that helps with that process too. It also suppresses the appetite, and so that's another reason why people tend to lose weight. Now, I want to explain that a little bit. So the reason why I use this is because I happen to fast for 16 hours. So I don't eat for 16 hours, and then I eat during an 8-hour window. That's called intermittent fasting. So again, I've got a video about intermittent fasting, but if you're somebody that eats like a lot of carbs and you eat this, these don't work well together because we're consuming fat and a lot of carbs, and that's no bueno. So, you know, it does help suppress appetite. So you don't want to use it as something where you're just consuming this and you're not eating, because we do need to eat foods. A lot of times people aren't losing weight because they're not consuming enough foods. What happens is when we consume too little of foods, and especially too little of fats, our bodies go into a starvation mode, right? It goes into this mode of conservation. Hey, you're not giving me enough, so I need to conserve what I'm taking in. And that's a bad thing because metabolism downregulates, and you know, that's a big reason why people have a problem losing weight. So anyway, so with MCT oil, it's awesome, man. And what I do is I don't recommend that you use a lot. I just use a spoonful. Now, you want to start even smaller than that. I mean, if you're a newbie, you want to go like half of the spoon, because what will happen is it'll give you like a loose stool. So you don't want this to be like a disaster. So you want to start a little light and then just work your way up. So I go with just a spoonful of this, and I'm good there. There's other people who go a bit crazy, and I'm not somebody, I don't advocate, hey, just because it's good for you, that you should do a ton of it and it's going to be even better. Everything is good in, you know, in a portion. So this is going to be a high fat type deal, and so I don't recommend that you go crazy high. I'm just doing a little bit, and that's where I've been able to hit the sweet spot. And you're going to go through this and kind of experiment with it and see where you're at. But for me, I'm good with a spoonful, and then also as far as the butter, I'm doing just a spoonful of butter as well, and that's good for me. Now, a lot of times, damn, that's good. A lot of times what happens is when you're getting started, you're wanting to consume more butter, and you know, a lot of times it's because the body is starved of fat. I mean, it wants to have more fat, and so, and it's okay, like if you were to use more, that's fine. But then as you go, you're gonna want less and less. And the butter I know that sounds kind of crazy if you're not used to this, but the butter creates a nice foam, man. And I mean, just think, you probably drink coffee and you put cream in there. Well, what's that? All right, I mean, it's the same thing really, but this is gonna be way better. All right, last up is gonna be Yerba Mate tea, man. I think everybody should have Yerba Mate in their life. This one is a loose leaf tea. It's more economical to do that. So I just use, personally, I use like 2 spoonfuls if it's just for me, but I make some for my wife too, so I'll put like 4 in here, and I put it into the French press with some hot water, and then I've already got the turmeric and ginger in there, so it's ready to go. But some of the benefits that you're gonna receive from Yerba Mate are definitely gonna be increased energy and focus, right? I mean, that's important, man. There's a lot of people who don't have focus, man, and they have that monkey mind, right? They're thinking about one thing, and then a thought pops up, and they're thinking about that, and then that, and then that. And if you can't focus on one thing, I mean, it's hard to get things done, right? Because you're just boom, 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 and you're never really like all in on one thing. So that's a problem, man. So this definitely helps with that. It also is loaded with antioxidants, as are a lot of other teas as well. This one has a pretty high amount. You know, it has another property which it decreases your blood pressure. And the reason why, or how it does that, is it relaxes your blood vessels. It has 15 amino acids and 24 different vitamins. So a lot of nutrition in there. It actually helps you to sleep. So a lot of times people are taking stimulants which actually burn out adrenals, right? If you're not familiar with adrenals, they're like the pharmacy of the body. You don't want to burn those out, right? They produce thyroid, and thyroid controls metabolism. You don't want to do that. So this doesn't actually have a lot of caffeine, but it does give you energy. It actually helps you sleep. So, and I'm not talking about like I drink this in the morning and then, oh, I'm tired, right? It's not like that. But when I go to bed like, at night, I try to go to bed at about 10:30. This gives me like a great night's sleep. So it's useful for that as well. It also is pretty awesome in the libido area, right? So it increases libido. It helps you with digestion, because what it does is it softens fecal material. A lot of people aren't going every day, and you're supposed to go every day. You're not supposed to miss any days. I mean, it's supposed to be like clockwork every day. So anyway, so I'll do another video on that specifically, but we don't want to talk about poop and talk about tea, right? You know, something else that you're going to receive is it helps to break down fat, and it has something called xanthins, which help to dilate the bronchioles, and that is very useful for people with asthma problems, right? So I've got everything in here, and again, just to run down: grass-fed butter, Yerba Mate tea. Oh, and then I'm gonna put stevia in here. If you're not familiar with stevia, it's awesome, man. So the reason why I like using stevia is it doesn't create like an insulin spike. It doesn't increase the blood pressure. Excuse me, it doesn't increase blood glucose, which is something that we don't want to use sugar at all. So I like using it, man. It makes it very nice. So you get creamy and sweet. So that's just my preference. You don't have to use it at all. So I just blend her on up. Yo, what's pretty awesome is using a high power blender is gonna give you a nice, it's gonna give you a nice foam. Right, now this thing is pretty orange. Now, the Bulletproof coffee method, you don't have to utilize, it doesn't call for using turmeric or ginger. That's just something that I do because I like to get those in the diet in higher amounts. And so I put it in my food, but it's a great way to get this way too. So, oh damn, that's good, man. It tastes so awesome. You're gonna really like this, but I drink this so this would be a great substitute if you're drinking coffee, if you go to Starbucks, sorry Starbucks, I don't mean to dig from your pockets, but this stuff is awesome. I mean, you'll save quite a bit of money, but also the health benefits are huge, man. I just described all those things. And again, I don't advocate that you should drink this so that you don't eat, right? I want to really stress that because you need to eat to live, right? So it tastes freaking awesome, gives you energy, gets you lean body mass, right? Decreases body fat. It improves cognitive functions. It helps you to go. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it, man. So anyway, it's something where There's a lot of scientific research about each one of these, and those things that I cited, I have them on my website, chasingmybest.com. Just check out the blog there. I've got a write-up on it, and I've got links to the research based off of what I discussed, so that you know it's not just me just saying it, right? But I've actually researched it, and you know, there are a lot of other people out there who are utilizing it. It's something where I didn't see a lot of people when I started this 3 years ago. I started consuming this 3 years ago, and I didn't see a lot of people who looked like I do doing it. I mean, I saw a lot of guys who were like, you know, had a healthy body, but they were a little bit on the skinnier side. And I didn't see like a lot of guys who were like a little bit more muscular with like more athletic physiques doing this. And so I wondered like, hey, does this work? And I had all those fears of, okay, if I utilize this and I'm not eating, am I gonna reduce my muscle size? Am I gonna reduce my metabolism? And the answer is no, man. This thing works awesome. And so again, what I do is I take this during the morning, and I don't eat until 12 o'clock. And then what I do is after that, I consume my meals during an 8-hour period. So I'm eating like what I would normally eat throughout the day. I just eat that through an 8-hour period. And again, I've got a video on that where I talk extensively about the health benefits of that, because there's a lot to it. Because I'm a big believer in not just doing something, but like learning about it first and learning what the benefits are. But once you decide to do it, go all in so you really know what the benefits are. If you kind of tiptoe in and you're gonna like, oh, I'll do this today, and then you don't do it tomorrow, and you're inconsistent, how will you know if it even works? You won't know, right? So I suggest when you actually decide to do it, go all in. So if you're following your protocol, do it all the way, and that way you'll know it works. So many times people are doing things and they think, I'm gonna get a result. Oh, it's been 2 days. How come I haven't lost weight? Dude, it's not a miracle. It took quite a while for you to gain the weight. It took a while for you to get this disease, right? It takes a little while to unravel that as well. There's no quick fix, and I'm not like selling snake oil. I'm not selling any of this, right? All I'm saying is it's been very beneficial to me in my life, and I just couldn't imagine actually doing something different. If there was some scientific research that came out to say that this stuff is healthy or unhealthy, I would still do it, because nothing trumps your personal experience. When you're doing something and you're able to feel the difference, where you actually have increased performance and energy, and your life is better and you look better, what could be more proof than that, right? And then also, I get blood work done. So it's not as if I'm just flying solo and I don't know what's going on inside of the body, right? I do. So, you know, I'm speaking from experience. I don't advocate this to all of my clients, but, you know, for some of them, they have loved this. I tend to see that men do far better on this than women. So again, my wife does this. She doesn't do the fast, right? So she drinks this, but she drinks a smaller portion than I do. Like, I'll take down this whole thing, but a lot of that was water too. So anyway, try it out. Let me know what you think. Feel free to comment, like, and then subscribe to the channel. I've got other videos and I've got many more to come, but I'm on a health journey just like you are. I've come from a point where I had some fucked up health, and I've been able to bring it to a place where I am good, man, really good. I'm the best that I've ever been, man. I look better than I've ever been. I've got greater energy, vitality, man. So anyway, so if you want to get healthy, you need to learn from somebody who's already healthy. All right, peace.